Pardon?
All right, good now.
Okay, so after asking all of the questions and we're really understanding our client's problem, I just say to them, you know, I know in my heart that I can absolutely help you. I know that I can help you in regard to this problem and helping you to regain your self-esteem and your confidence. What would that mean to you to have all of that? And then they get an answer. And, you know, normally they're like, you know, that would mean everything to me. That would help me so much. And so I would then say to them, well, these are the modalities that I use. I use NLP, timeline therapy, and hypnosis. Now, when we look at NLP, N standing for neuro, L for linguistic, P for programming, we're going to be looking at the way you think, the way you see the world as you see it right now. We're going to also look at the way you speak, you know, the language that you speak, your self-talk, but we're also going to look at your programming. And the programming is the way that you've been brought up, the experiences that you have brought into your life thus far. You know, what part of your programming, your language and your thoughts has brought you to this place in your life where, you know, you have no self-esteem and you're not confident and you're not valuing yourself. You know, wouldn't it be amazing to be able to use these modalities and have all of that? When we use timeline therapy, we say goodbye to anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt. And sometimes when we have things happen in our past, we hold on to these negative emotions. And these negative emotions play such a big part in who we are, in the way that we see the world, the way that we think. So wouldn't it be amazing to be able to just say goodbye to anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt, or anything else that you may be feeling? Wouldn't that be amazing? And they're probably going, yeah, it would be. You know, and I've noticed, you know, in our, you know, in this conversation that we've had, that there are some limiting beliefs present. You know, you said earlier, you know, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve to have any friends. I don't deserve a beautiful relationship. Now, these are just examples. These, what I've noticed is that these are present. And these are what we call limiting decisions. And limiting decisions are the things that we believe. You know, they're deep within us, so that we believe about ourselves. And limiting decisions are things that really hold us back. They stop us from living our best life. So wouldn't it be amazing to be able to say goodbye to all of those limiting decisions? And then what we do is we look at a goal that you'd like to achieve. And I help you to put that goal into different steps. And I actually put that goal in the future to make sure that it happens. How does that sound? And then at the very end, what I like to do is I like to wrap it up in a big bow and do a beautiful hypnotherapy session. And for you, maybe that hypnotherapy session is around self-esteem, confidence, and actually believing in yourself and seeing yourself going forward now and living your best life. How does that sound? So on a scale to, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, I'm fine, thank you, and 10 being, I really need your help and I'm really committed to getting this done. Where are you? And, you know, they say well, I really want to get this done. I really need your help. And then you say, well, the program that I have right now available is a 6-week breakthrough program. That is a 6-week commitment from you. You and I work together, and we are together every week for 6 weeks. And everything that I just described, everything that I just told you about, we're going to release that in 6 weeks. How does that sound? Okay. So here's the thing. This is going to be an investment. It is an investment in yourself. It is an investment in your growth. But first and foremost, you do this work. I really feel that you are going to see yourself so differently, and so many other people are going to see you. So the investment for the 6 weeks is, and whatever that is for you. Now, as I said to all of you, most of my students who come out of PRAC, we start this 6-week breakthrough program. I like to say $2,000. Okay. However, I do not want you to charge any less than $1,500. Just if you're feeling that $2,000 is like, ooh, it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it. So does anyone have any questions in regard to everything that I just said, and the questions and the discovery call? No? Nothing? We're good. Okay. So then, when the client says yes, you have to work out, obviously, how they're going to pay for that. Now, we really advise that it is really good to get Stripe. Luke, help me out here. You can get Stripe. We actually have an EFTPOS machine, so it's important to do that. And remember, we're still recording. So, yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll place in the group that will be some good tools in regards to payment platforms.
Yeah.
That can help you get started cost effectively.
So do you just want to mention them to the girls now?
Well, I would probably lean more towards Stripe and PayPal. Stripe's a pretty good platform for online payments. The setup can be a little bit tricky at first, but I'm sure we can help you with that kind of stuff. They can hear me. It's okay. It's all good.
So you're just leaning forward, that's all.
Okay, I'll talk louder. EFTPOS machine is a monthly commitment, where platforms like Stripe is pay as you go. So it'll be a percentage of sale. So that's your best start. There are other platforms like Square as well, which is like an EFTPOS machine with higher fees but no monthly commitment. So, but when you start getting higher turnover, it's more effective to get like a Tyro machine or an EFTPOS machine that's going to take regular payments. But start with, just go down that route. But I'll put some stuff in the group as well, just to remind you.
Can you also share with them about success?
Yes, I can also send information about that too. So Debit Success is a platform where a company will take payments on your behalf and will charge you a fee. I think it's just over 5%, 5.2, I think it is, close to 5.2. It is on the higher end of the fee schedule. However, the people who sign up for your breakthroughs, who use this service, are also connected with the credit reporting agency, which means that if they decide that they don't want to pay anymore, they'll get a bad track record on what you call it,
Credit rating.
credit rating, thank you. But there's some things to learn about that as well. And you get training from Debit Success how to set up, how you set up your contracts with your payment plans. And you can decide how you want to structure it. You help the client say what can they afford every week. And then you can design up a template for that client only, which means that if they want to stretch it out over 6 months, they can. You know, or longer. We've got people that are on a 1 year weekly payment. Thing is that people come through the system, they get the learnings, they have a new life, and they invest in you to get that result. So, you know, give them the extra option to pay it off. In regards to our trainees in a master prac, for example, we tend to put that in place for people who want to go beyond the training. If you want to pay it off prior to master prac, there's no extra fees, just so you guys know. Because we're not going to charge any extra if you're dedicating payments prior to training. I know that. But it's all interlinked with Debit Success as well. So I will put some information about that too in the group. So you've got some choices for your clients.
And the other thing is too, when you've got people who want to pay it off, Debit Success is really good because it's a written agreement. And what we do, if we have people going through Debit Success, we add on, there is an admin fee. So that 5% we actually add on to the price of the breakthrough so that your costs are covered. Okay, so there will be a different price for your payment plan people. And I really want to hone it into all of you that if you are working with someone that you do not know from a bar of soap and they want to pay it off, I would go through Debit Success because that platform, I say to them, I said, you know, we're going to go down this platform. This is your commitment. If you do not pay, that it will affect your credit rating. I'm very upfront with people like that. So that's where, you know, you've got options. We also have other options. If you know someone that the person or they've been a referral or something like that, and you feel good about them and you know that they're a good person, you can organise with them to pay equal payments to you directly, like via transfer, before each session. So equal payments each week until the breakthrough is paid. So whatever the cost, you just divide it by 6 and you get them to pay their first one up front before you start, and then equal payments for 6 weeks until it's paid off as well. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that the client has gone, yes, I'm interested, here's my money. And then what you've got to do is then you decide, when are we starting? So when do we actually start the process? So if we look at page 30, what we're doing is the whole intervention is right there. So, Luke, where are those pieces of paper?
Well, I'm going to scan it after you've taken the slide.
Yeah, can I have them, please? So what we do is we start with saying goodbye to the negative emotions. So on week 1, what we would actually be doing is we would be eliciting the timeline, and we are then releasing anger and sadness in the same session. So elicit the timeline, discover the root cause of anger, release anger. Then discover the root cause of sadness and release sadness. That is week 1. Week 2, we release fear. So discover the root cause, and then we discover the root and release fear. Then we discover the root cause of hurt, and then we discover, then we release hurt, and then that is done. That is week 2. Week 3 is you could do guilt, and then you could start on your limiting decisions. On this script, it actually says, session 2, you can do fear, hurt, and guilt. But I like to do guilt with limiting decisions, and then limiting, and like, so guilt, and then 1 limiting decision. And then the next week, you can get rid of other limiting decisions. So that's week 4. Week 5, you could do parts integration. You could do some anchoring as well. You could do some like to dislike if it's needed. So it also says here, some don't need the NLP techniques, but these are also other things that you can add in. Or, yes, Sonia?
Would you recommend that we put the guilt into week 4 with the limiting conditions?
I really feel that it goes into week 3. So week 1 is anger, sadness. Week 2 is fear and hurt. Guilt is week 3. And then you could do 1 or 2 limiting decisions. And then week 4, you could do all the rest of the limiting decisions. Okay, so week 5 is parts integration, and then what you could do there with if you don't need parts, you could do your goal setting in that week as well. And then week 6, I actually do hypno. So the sheet that we're sending you is week 6. It has putting the goal in, but I actually like to do the goal setting and then hypno, because it's funny, a lot of my clients don't we don't do parts because the parts are all gone. So after we've done that, we go through all of our notes and we make sure that we've covered everything. So through that evidence criteria, all of the things that the client listed that they wanted, you go back and check. So, you know, what the things that she said she wanted to do or wanted to feel when she had her confidence, you just go back and you make sure that that's how she's feeling. She's feeling really good. You've done everything and you've ticked it off. And then we just remind them of their evidence, just remind them of that evidence criteria and just say, you know, how are you feeling? Have you yes on it?
Sorry, but it says like test if it's gone. How do you test?
You just talk, you ask them and you just say to them, you know, you give them a scenario. You give them a scenario that in the past or in their notes is a real challenge for them. It's hard to say because it depends on the individual client, but you will know, like you will know through their physiology, you will know the way that they come back and the way that they speak to you. Okay, so this one that we're sending you on the piece of paper, okay, is not as detailed as what is in your book. So you can always go back to your manual for more information. But this is a simplified version, but it doesn't mean that you go and cut corners either, okay? Really, really, really important. So then what we do is, you know, we make sure, and all the way through the breakthrough, we make sure that if you're tasking your client, that they are doing their tasks. You know, I had a client quite a few years ago who suffered from a lot of anxiety, and he didn't like going out. He didn't like, you know, going out in public, and he would basically sit at home and play games on his TV all day. And while he was working with me, I tasked him to get out in nature every day and go for a walk. And my tasking was, you have to go somewhere different every week, and you have to send me a photo of where you are. So that was a task. Another task that I gave a client of mine, another client who didn't like to go out in public and she had anxiety, once we had released fear, I got her to go to the shopping centre and have coffee with herself. And I got her to send me a photo. The reason why was because she didn't like going to the shopping centre. The shopping centre was overwhelming. And if I was to sit by myself in a shopping centre, everyone would be looking at me and judging me because I'm by myself. I'm nearly no friends. That's what she used to say. And I said to her, for what purpose would you not give yourself time to yourself to breathe? Go and have a cup of coffee in a shopping centre, go to a cafe and treat yourself and take a photo and be present and not worry. And she ended up sending me a photo of her having a milkshake because she didn't feel like she wanted coffee that particular day. And she said, here I am, Carol, I'm sitting in a cafe by myself. I actually feel pretty good. Another client I sent into Coles to do food shopping, and she didn't like going up and down the aisles because that was scary. I got her to send me a photo doing food shopping in the aisles of Coles while she was doing it, because telling me that she was there was not enough. You can get your clients to journal. You can get your clients to do meditations. You can find lots of resources on the internet. You can find meditations, send it to them. Look up audiobooks. Get them to listen to audiobooks, just depending on what it is that they need at the time. Luke, I need my slides. Does anyone have any questions at all in regard to helping a client with this breakthrough session?
Stop recording.
Yeah.
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 And two.
Well done.
And two. Stop recording.
So, no questions?